today's tour is about reverse engineering, and now we've got to imagine that there's alien spacecraft, okay, in Area 51. So, you know, just imagine there's some spaceships there, right? And they're called alien spaceships, right? But on the other hand, right, they might not be alien spaceships, they might be human built spaceships, but still spaceships nonetheless. Doesn't matter which one, they're reverse engineering them, okay? Now, if they're human spacecraft and they're being reverse engineered, when were they built? Now, if they were built in the 1940s by the Germans and we're reverse engineering them, then there's one scenario. If they were built 5,000 years ago and we're reverse engineering them, then there's another scenario. And if they're alien spaceships and we're reverse engineering them, then there's another scenario. But there can't be any more scenarios than that, can they? Alien, human but built a long time ago, or human and built a very short time ago. You choose one. You choose whichever one you want to choose. Right? But I'm going to highlight the scenarios for you and explain reverse engineering. For a start, we'll start with reverse engineering. Reverse engineering is done. A. Things were built in the 1940s. We built a spaceship which does 10 times the speed of light in 1945 or 1944. And the human race isn't quite ready for that kind of speed yet. So what we do is take that technology and bring it back to something that doesn't do the speed of light, does something like a tenth of the speed of light, and then we'll go on and do that. Or take it back to before that. Let's do the rockets first, and then after we've done the rockets, then we'll go on to plasma type engines. And after we've done plasma type engines, then we'll go on to light sail engines, sort of like, you know, and we will progressively go through the different technologies. And the reason why we're doing that is primarily because of capitalism. If you went straight to the light speed engine, you wouldn't make any money in the long term. And secondly, you want to acclimatise humans to being going faster. You know, you don't want to go too fast too quickly because it could be a bit of a strain for the human psyche. Right, second scenario. They were built 5,000, 6,000 years ago, and we had a massive, great big nuclear war. And it was that big, the war was, that it destroyed all technology on the planet, basically. Ended up with a big flood, the whole of the planet was flooded, all technology got washed away. A bit like what happened in Pakistan, where you see road bridges and everything just get washed away by the water. You thought it was solid concrete, but it got washed away. But some of it was in underground bases or in certain places, and we finally dug it out from underneath the mountains when we've been digging tunnels through, like the Swiss Alps and what have you. We've been digging through, but really we didn't dig through the Swiss Alps to build a road tunnel, because we could have built the road anywhere we wanted. We actually went through that because that's where the secret base was, to get the technology out. Anyway, we've got the technology out, and we don't know how to do it really. We've just reverse engineered it, and we're doing it step by step. We're going through it step by step, because these ships that are 5,000 years old, they've got memory banks, and basically it's like the Encyclopedia Britannica. And we've learned how to make CNC machines, and then after you've made CNC machines, you need artificial intelligence, and then after you get artificial intelligence, you need such and such and such and such and such and such. You need this machine made first, then that machine made, then this machine made, and they all follow on from one another. A bit like making computer processors and what have you. Second scenario. Third scenario is very similar. It's alien spaceship that's coming to Earth, and let's say we got a lucky shot and shot one down, or an engine malfunctioned and it fell to the Earth and the aliens died. And it's pretty much the same as the 5,000-year-old technology. We don't know how to do it, and we don't know the language, so it's a bit different. So we've got the computer memory banks, and we've got the engines, and they've got something like a Britannica Encyclopedia inside theirs, which tells you how their technology works. It's a bit like, you know, a bit of fun reading on the way from Zob Planet 2 to Earth. You know, they wanted something to read, so they read their history. So we've had to decrypt their language, now we can read their databases, and we've slowly took their engines to bits and put them back together again, took them to bits and put them back together again, and we realised how they work, and we're just building the bits bit by bit. Reverse engineering. Which one do you want? Now, obviously, I've just explained 3 different possibilities of why we do reverse engineering. Right. In the first scenario, I mentioned capitalism, but that wouldn't be the only scenario in that scenario, would it? You've got to think, why is capitalism there in the first place? If we've got these kind of technologies, you've got to think like, you know, Rome. You've got the Vatican in the centre of Rome, so you've got, you know, the Vatican. That's the Christian centre of Christianity, basically, like, yeah. And there's supposed to be an underground city there, isn't there? And they're supposed to have all manner of technologies from 400 to 500 years ago. So there's lots of conspiracy theories built into that. And if you're thinking about reverse engineering, right, maybe it's a Catholic spaceship that's being caught, and not an alien spaceship that's being caught. And when you start weighing up different things from different countries, you start coming to conclusions, and then you wonder whether these aliens exist. So then they've got to say they've got proof of aliens, right? And I've seen videos of people which there's lens flares and what have you, and their face goes a little bit, or when they blink it may look like they've blinked like this, but you can explain it through lens effects. Then you see people, or you hear people talking, and they say they've seen people that actually change from human to reptilian and back to human again with their own eyes. But I've never actually seen this caught on camera. Right, not really caught on camera. I've seen lens effects, like I've said. But I do know people take magic mushrooms, and they take LSD and acid type drugs, and these things create hallucinations. And I've also heard people talk about the hallucinations they've had, and the hallucinations sound like that's what these people could have done. And if they've been taking Class A drugs, as classed in England, I believe the people that have seen aliens have been taking Class A drugs. So there's an explanation for a lot of the alien stuff, right, to explain away that aliens have actually visited us. But I'm not saying that aliens haven't visited us, because I've seen some stuff myself which is strange, and it's either human technology which is far advanced to what we've got, or it's alien technology. Now, it's not like, oh, it's a helicopter that's landed, this thing that's flew up vertically and then took off and off it went, like, yeah, it's a helicopter. It wasn't a helicopter, this thing that I saw. Triangular in shape, right, have we seen the film Mars Attacks, where the stairs come out of it and go down and hit the floor like that? That kind of technology I've seen with my own eyes, right, and it wasn't an hallucination. I went back 2 days later and saw the imprints in the ground where the actual thing was. 2 days. I mean, it wasn't a hallucination. You don't see something one day and then 2 days later go back to where it's not there anymore, but the evidence for it being there is there, and it hasn't been covered up. You don't hallucinate 2 days afterwards with the same hallucination, you know what I mean? It's just not going to happen, especially when you haven't took no drugs because you're 8 years old, 9 years old. Anyway, there is technology out there. It's amazing technology. It's just, which path do you want to go down? There's 3 paths there. There can't be any more than those 3 paths. There's nothing more than that. It's either technology that we can do, which is recent technology, or it's technology that we've done in the past that we don't know how to do anymore, but some people have got some of it and don't know how it works, but they're using it, or it's alien technology, and it's aliens. Which one do you want? Anyway, we are reverse engineering it, and that's why we're reverse engineering it.